So, Paul, I got this text message from...
It's the Sunday Drive, bitches!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special treat for you today.
A treat?
This is not Paul. I don't know if you guys noticed that yet.
Now I'm about 150 pounds heavier and much better looking.
He may debate that when he gets back in that seat. But as many referenced many times on the Sunday Drive, we talk about our people we collaborate with, people we talk bills with, and everything. This is Drew from the Rockpile Report. Drew Gier, season ticket holder. If you want to check him out on Twitter at Rockpile Report, which is going to be about right here. You know, we're like the low guys on the totem pole. You know, podcasters, broadcasters, like that. We like to talk about the Bills and like to talk about the NFL, but we kind of get looked down upon by the greater good of the or the great, the
hierarchy of people who talk about sports and write about them.
Oh, if you ask blog?
If you ask Mike Harrington, we just crawled out of our mother's basements in order to do this today.
But it's interesting too because a lot of people don't understand like the preparation. Like why don't you tell some of the individuals, because I would highly recommend listening to the Rockpile Report. Check them out, like I said, on Twitter. This guy is hilarious.
The preparation that goes into doing what we do on a week-to-week basis, I could put in anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week. It's like a part-time job, except I enjoy doing it. It involves a lot of film analysis, a lot of statistical analysis. Sometimes it involves going on Twitter and fighting with people, arguing with people about pedantic things that don't matter. Why? Because that's what generates conversation, and conversation's what we're all here for, right? I'm a fan. You're a fan. There's a million fans out there who love sports, love the team, love to debate. And I mean, if you're looking for somebody to argue with, I'm more than happy to do so.
And he does.
And one of the things is, though, it's intelligent debate and it's intelligent conversation, because even if you don't agree with somebody, there's always a talking point. And whenever you can communicate and talk and share ideas, have a beer or 5 or 10. I mean, what? Yeah. Who doesn't enjoy that?
True. It's interesting too because there are individuals who we know who don't take that path. No. Are kind of like, why are you commenting on my Twitter? Go away. And I'm just like, okay, because you and Chris and Laisel and I believe Rich, you guys are more heavy into the Twitter than I am. Mm-hmm. Like Paul and I, we go on there occasionally.
It depends on how many beers I've had. I'll level with you. It depends on how much I've had to drink. I love intelligent debate. That being said, after beer 9, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm telling people to go get their Shine Box. I'm posting gifs from the movie Goodfellas. I'm yelling.
Tombstone.
All caps. Yeah, Tombstone gifs are flying around. And then I wake up and I look at my feed. I'm like, wow, it's apology day. You got to go on the apology tour and kind of, or you don't. You just leave it. You just let it sit. I don't take any of this too seriously. What it is I have a deep love for the game of football. I'm not a student of the game. I hate that phrase. It makes my skin crawl. What it is I'm a guy who loves a sport, and I can talk. I can talk about anything for hours. And that's football happens to be the thing I gravitated towards. And now I'm like a dog with a bone. I can't let it go. And look at these teeth. Essentially, what you have between our group here is just a bunch of guys who love to talk. And out of talking has come this content creation, which people seem to enjoy. Mm-hmm. Last night we were out at a bar, and we kind of advertised that we were going to be there with a couple other guys, and Nate Geary from WGR was there, and Eric Turner from Cover One, and some other guys. And we had like 4 or 5 fans, just guys who listen to the podcast, show up and have drinks with us and hang out. And it was cool because these are the people who on a week-to-week basis take an hour out of their lives to listen to my dumbass talk. and to me, that in and of itself is one of the biggest rewards. I mean, there's a lot of guys who do it because they want it to be a profession, because they want to make something out of it. I'm the type of guy who does it just because I love doing it. That's it. And I can tell you guys are very much that way, and I think that's why we get along so well.
Oh yeah, it's not about I mean, Paul made a comment one time
It's a good thing people won't pay for this nonsense.
I never ask anybody to pay for the pleasure of putting up with me for an hour and 15 minutes. No. I'll never ask for a dime because, trust me, if anything, I should be paying you to listen.
Oh yeah, here, please listen to this. No, but it's more of the fact of, you know, we do like you said, we enjoy talking about the Bills, talking about the NFL, breaking down stuff, breaking down numbers. You know, I'm a numbers guy. You know, Paul's the salary cap guru, you know, of the group, and I'm the more of the X's and O's guy. But we just love doing that, and you know, like within the whole group, like Laisel and Icy and Spencer and Rich and Cam and all those.
I should say everybody over at Rock Sports Network.
Yeah, they love doing that.
Involved with these guys, and it's one of the things that kind of drives the conversation. And it definitely helps us collaborate. Yeah. And I think we all do kind of feed off each other in a lot of ways.
Yes, there is the dynamic. As I mean, I don't want to go back to the Avengers episode, but we all have some vastly different personalities that mesh very,
the
very
hilarious thing is, so I was pegged as being the Hulk, and my producer Chris was pegged as being Bruce Banner, and that's a very fitting analogy because Chris is a very mild-mannered human being, and you put him in a room with me, and I start off at a 2, and by the end of our podcast, I usually end up at an 8, depending on the topic. I mean, if you bring up a home run throwback, you bring up the Patriots shutting us up 31-0.
There's 3 things I know that will tilt you to the Hulk.
I hit 11 and I turn green. Yes. Not for nothing, over the course of my life, you are the 5th person, I went back through it, the 5th person to compare me to the Hulk. To the point where I have photos from my friend's wedding. He did like a superheroes theme for all of his groomsmen.
Oh boy.
And again, I was the Hulk, and I go, why? And he goes, Drew, I remember you throwing a picnic table while people were sitting at it because someone cursed at my wife while we were camping. I went into that situation with a mindset that we were just going to talk. And then I don't know what happened, but 30 seconds in, everything came off the rails. That's my personality. I get fired up very quickly. That being said, I love sports and I love this football team. I'm passionate about it, and that does come out sometimes.
Oh, it's great.
Sometimes I turn green and just start going.
Which I think is what endears you to a lot of your listeners and a lot of Bills fans, because a lot of them have that reaction. Like, why the...
If you can't be a manic Bills fan every now and again, then you're not either A, you're not paying attention to what's going on in the field, or B, in my opinion, you just don't care enough.
So what do you say? Like, because like you obviously are well informed. You do your homework. You study up. You do all this film study, like you said. Can you imagine being one of those Bills fans that gets just as mad as you, but does not understand the X's and O's of the game? You just gets mad about the result?
Well, that's the thing. It's putting context to your frustration. That's why, in all honesty, I advise you guys, go out there, read, listen to podcasts. If you don't have a mind for that kind of thing, listen to podcasts. Follow these guys. You know, take a listen to our podcast after a particularly brutal game, and I'm going to talk exactly about what went wrong, and I'm going to break it down in a way that's easy to understand. Just because you have to, that's what started this all, was putting context to my own misery. That's where we started with this.
3 years, man.
3 years
ago. That's
3
amazing.
Years ago.
That is great. That is phenomenal. Like, I do turn into the Hulk. That's funny that 5 people have compared you to that, though.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, the funnier part is the story about me flipping the table. My buddy goes,
people were sitting at it.
Well, people were sitting at it. We were camping at Darien Lake. So
Okay.
It's Darien Lake camping grounds.
Yes.
It's not exactly the biggest campsite in the world.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's wife goes to use the bathroom because she's not a guy and she's not going to pee outside like animals.
Yes.
And she comes back and she's like, these kids who are probably 22. She's like, one of those kids called me a C because I asked them if they could please stop cursing so loudly because my kids are over here.
Wow. Oh, that's
justifiable. Now, mind you, I've been drinking. But so have they.
Yes.
And so me and her husband are like, okay, we're going to go over there and we're going to talk to him, say, listen, you don't even have to apologize to my wife. Just, can you kind of quiet down? Can you not use so much profanity? We've got some kids running around over here and whatnot. And so we went over there and we talked the entire walk, probably the length of a football field, from our campsite to theirs. And the whole walk over there was just the conversation between me and Dan. Dan goes, okay, I'm going to do all the talking. Just let me handle this. I'm calm. I'm collected. And I said, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just here in case you need me. And we were there, and we got there, and one of the kids who was sitting at the table, there's probably 3 kids at a picnic table, and the kid just looks at my friend Dan and goes, what the F do you want? And I picked up the end of the table and just started pushing it over. And they couldn't get out of it fast enough. And it just starts tipping. And here's my friend Dan going, what are you doing? Hulk smash. Hulk smash.
They asked for it.
And that's it. And then everyone got real quiet after that. And then, of course, the park trooper came over and we had to have a conversation about it. But at the end of the day, I was vindicated. And that's when Dan decided, he goes, you are the Hulk. Because I don't know when you're just going to go from 0 to 60.
Yes.
Smash.
That is funny.